Hey guys, Mano here and welcome back to the channel. 2 years ago, I had a 2017 Kawasaki W800 that I bought, worked on, and rode around for a bit. It was probably the most beautiful bike that I've ever owned, and despite its shortcomings, it was one of the most enjoyable street bikes that I've ever ridden in my entire life. But back then, I was in need of money and had to make ends meet, so I sold it. Up to this day, I still regret selling that bike, and I wish I should have just kept it and made the money somewhere else. Now recently though, I had a chance to test ride its closest rival, a bike from a brand with a storied past, an equally beautiful machine that I have been dreaming of owning ever since its release, and that is the Royal Enfield Interceptor 650. My time with that bike was extremely short, but I was able to experience it to the point where I wanted to bring it home and never return it to the dealership. If only stealing wasn't a crime, then I might have done it. Kidding aside, this video is not about my regrets on selling the W800 or my desire for the Interceptor 650, but rather to help you decide which bike is for you. The fact that you opened this video is proof that you are in the market for one of these beautiful retro bikes, or you already have one and would like to reinforce the decision that you already made. Please take note, I am presenting this topic to you based on my memories with those bikes, and these are my personal opinions, so take everything with a grain of salt. I'll be comparing both bikes based on 3 categories that I believe matter the most when it comes to choosing the right bike for you. And no, I won't be talking about specs and numbers because those do not speak for how these motorcycles feel like. Okay, let's begin with styling because that's the first thing we see. In this department, I have to say both are evenly matched in terms of beauty. The W800, although it's Japanese, looks like a brand new British bike from the 60s and 70s. From the headlight, gas tank, wire spoke wheels, the twin P-shooter silencers, and that gorgeous looking engine, especially from the bevel drive side. Everything looks very period correct, and it's got this air of practicality and elegance at the same time. Like a beautiful woman in a simple black dress at a party, mysterious yet inviting. The Interceptor, on the other hand, is the younger lady living next to the W800. Youthful, smart, and outgoing. A bit rough on the edges, but you just know she has a lot of potential. The short wheelbase and those upswept pipes give it a racy look, while the raw and polished finishes on the engine components really make it stand out. The taller bars, slimmer tank, and flat seat gives off this impression that the Interceptor is a very accommodating ride, which it is. Now speaking of those components, let's talk about ergonomics, the all-important rider triangle. For reference, this is me at 6'1", 95 kilograms with a 32-inch inseam. On the Royal Enfield, my back is upright and slightly lean forward. Reach to the bars is just right for my size. Not too low, not too high, and I would say this is a perfect reach for me. Foot peg placement is below my leg and slightly higher off the ground. The gas tank is pretty slim but wide enough for me to squeeze it with my legs comfortably. It also allows me to stand up on the pegs and ride it like an adventure bike if there is a need to. The only thing that I do not like is the seat being too flat and too hard, plus it's a bit tall also. The W800, on the other hand, is more welcoming for shorter riders. The seat is low and very plush, wider at the back and narrow towards the fuel tank, allowing you to put your foot down easily. The tank is wider, also making you squeeze it with your legs easily. The reach to the bars though is a bit low for me and puts me in a slouch position, which I am not a fan of. Foot placement is slightly more forward and lower compared to the Interceptor. Now nothing is perfect out of the box. These issues can be addressed with some aftermarket parts. A better seat for the Interceptor would be nice, and as for the W800, a taller bar with more back sweep will solve these issues. At least in my case. Okay, for performance, I will give my general opinion of each bike, where they're good at, and their limitations based on what I experience. These bikes are not rocket ships and certainly do not have top shelf components. However, they do excel in certain areas. The W800 is obviously more powerful with that bigger engine. It's got more torque and very smooth power delivery. On this bike, I found myself enjoying a cruise more than blasting out of corners. Given its lower cornering clearance, this bike wants you to behave in the twisties and just enjoy the moment. The suspension is very compliant and does a great job absorbing small road imperfections. The brakes on the W is something to be mindful of though. In most cases it works well, but stopping from higher speeds will require you a lot of engine braking to slow down. Take note, my W800 had a drum rear brake and no ABS. The newer ones are better equipped in this area, so I assume they work better. Now the Interceptor on the other hand, despite being a bit lower in torque, it loves to be revved and has this addicting mid-range rush. The shorter wheelbase and higher cornering clearance makes you want to dart in and out of traffic or be slightly more aggressive at corners. It feels light and slim, almost like a 250 street bike. Suspension is pretty stiff for slower city speeds but very stable once you go up in speed. Braking is also good. A bit spongy, but very effective as is and work really well at emergency stops. Now I wish I could have taken this out on a longer trip, but I can say the Interceptor is made for the slightly more aggressive rider. Honestly, I'm torn between these two bikes since they offer a lot of enjoyment as long as you respect their limitations. You can take them out on longer trips with some additional upgrades and are both manageable daily rides. They're fun to ride around and have classic good looks that won't fade away anytime soon. Both are sensible choices for newer riders and would also make a great second bike for more seasoned riders. But if I were to choose between these two bikes, my heart will go to the W800. Not because I miss it dearly, it's just that I feel more relaxed riding it. And to top it off, my wife enjoyed riding it as well since I am not my usual hazardous self on it. So what about you? Which retro bike do you like the most? Leave a comment below for others to see and react to. Anyway, that's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this topic and I will see you in the next one. Bye.